This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 637 for January 6th, 2020, the Okayest edition.
Complete but no.
And somehow you can't buy it online anymore.
Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpeer.
Bonjour. Why did I do French twice today?
Maybe. And the Nimp.
Hello.
We're back from our holiday break. Hopefully you enjoyed the top 10 Game of the Year episode and the predictions episode. If you haven't, both of those turned out really well, so go check those out. I was just going to spoil who Most Correctus is here, but maybe you haven't listened to it. Maybe you haven't finished it. I haven't finished all the Giant Bomb Game of the Year stuff, so, you know, everyone's a little behind. Anywho, we probably have a ton of stuff to talk about because we've been off for 2 weeks. So let's just dive into it, Moon. What have you been playing these past couple of weeks?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, okay. Get comfy.
Yeah, get comfy. Okay, so I'm just going to... You don't have to talk about these. You don't have to write these down. I played a whole bunch of stupid sports games, got a bunch of achievements, and then I deleted them from my Xbox because I need the space.
Moonpear's Sports Corner.
Yes. I tell you, if there's one thing to put you off buying and playing the most recent version of sports games, it's just go back and play any of the old ones, and you'll remember how frustrating and cash grabby they can be.
Right.
So, never mind that. I think I'll do without. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We did Dead by Friday. We did the last Dead by Friday of 2019 and the first Dead by Friday of 2020.
Hooray.
They were both a laugh. They were both fun. It was double Blood Points weekend this weekend, so we had a double Dead by Friday, which was fun. Dead by Friday, whatever. You've heard me talk about this a whole bunch anyway.
Yep.
We did have Thanksgiving and Christmas, which meant I played a whole bunch of board games with the family. And then I played a whole bunch of board games on my Xbox.
There you go.
Because they came to Xbox. So, let's start the list here, folks. Ticket to Ride. It's Ticket to Ride. That's literally my notes on it. If you have played Ticket to Ride...
It's the digital version of that thing.
Yes. If you have played that game at all, like the board game at all at any point, then you already know what you're getting into. Let's just get my big pet peeve with board games on video consoles out the way straight away.
Okay.
If you are an achievement hunter, there is one thing that is your greatest enemy. Randomness.
Yeah.
Exactly.
RNGesus.
Yes. So... when, for example, you have to get an achievement for winning in a particular way on a board game,
oh no,
it may take you 70 to 100 tries to do so.
Right.
Because it's random.
Yeah.
I hate board games as an achievement hunter.
Yeah.
But Ticket to Ride's fun. The biggest downside to it, to me, is, like, there doesn't seem to be any online multiplayer on it.
Weird. Okay.
Yep. So if I'm playing it with somebody who's in the same room as me, I can see their destinations and they can see mine. Therefore, ruining everything to do with that game.
Yeah. Weird.
So whatever. But if you're interested in possibly picking up the physical board game of Ticket to Ride, which is fun, I've played like 5 different versions of it now because they have America, Europe, they have the East, they have Ancient Times, they have the UK,
Jeez.
They have millions of different
C-Lab 2021.
Honestly, if they get into licensed ones, like if they made a Mario Kingdom Ticket to Ride,
yeah,
like
I'm surprised they haven't for some of that stuff.
There's already a Mario Monopoly. I mean, come on,
that's true.
It's not that far off. You can,
the
Formula One Ticket to Ride, where you're racing across the planet to try and get to these courses.
There you go. Yeah,
but. I mean, if you're interested in potentially picking up the board game, I think the digital version is a cool way to go to get some experience under your belt. But other than that, stay away. It's fun, and it's brainless, and it's got the most annoying, like, license-free shareware music ever. So you can literally turn your headphones off and just listen to a podcast while you're playing it.
There you go.
But it's dumb, it's fun, it gets my Game Pass. I'm not even going to give it a pass or a fail. It just gets my Game Pass because I don't know.
Moonbear in chat says Death Stranding Ticket to Ride.
Oh.
Load your back up. Let's start walking.
Wait, I said that in chat?
No, Monkey Senior did.
Okay, there we go. I was so confused.
Vacation, guys.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm still getting back into it here.
Yeah. Death Stranding
Boston doesn't even know I'm here, so...
That's right. Who said that?
But yeah, Death Stranding Ticket to Ride, that would be cool. And they apparently want to license that thing out like crazy, so cool. Go for it.
Yeah.
Pandemic, the board game, is also available on Game Pass. A problem for achievement hunters, stop me if you've heard this before,
wait a minute,
is randomness.
Uh-huh.
Pandemic,
also, deja vu is a problem.
Yes, deja vu is definitely a problem. For those of you who don't know Pandemic actually is a good version of the board game because Pandemic is you against the game. It's not you against each other like Ticket to Ride is or Monopoly where you're trying to force other people to make mistakes or whatever.
Right.
Pandemic is you against the game itself.
Right.
And as such, Pandemic is very, very difficult to win. It's widely regarded as potentially one of the hardest board games to beat, but it's really fun in the way that you beat it. You have to like stop basically disease outbreaks as you're exploring the world. It's fun.
Is that the one that's based off of the mobile game where you're trying to spread diseases? Or
No, that's Plague.
That's Plague
Incorporated. Yeah, Plague Inc.
That's a fun game.
Yeah, Pandemic is essentially the opposite to that. So if you could get some version where they talk to each other and you're trying to spread the disease and people playing Pandemic are trying to stop the disease,
there you go.
That would be cool. But no, Pandemic is all about trying to stop this. Basically, you're trying to stop a pandemic.
Heyo.
But it's very difficult, but it's fun. Like it's fun, strategic thinking, and it's another one of those games where if you're interested in the board game version, maybe play the digital version to save the investment in Pandemic. And I know that with Pandemic itself, they actually made a sequel to it where the board remains the same as the games progress. Like, so the board evolves permanently as you play it. It can only be played like 90 times or something like that, and then you have to buy it again kind of thing.
Oh, huh.
But it's really interesting the fact that it actually evolves as you play a physical board game. It changes its state next time you start it. It's completely different.
Interesting.
Which is a cool little touch.
Fifth of Nine in chat says that board game podcast. That's right. We're relaunching, rebranding as a brand new show. We're all about board game. Get on Kickstarter.
Specifically digital board games.
That's right. We're a niche of a niche.
Yes. But, I mean, again, it's on Game Pass. Give it a shot. If you want to buy the physical, buy the physical. If you don't, play this version. It's fine. Now we get into the actual video games. I played a little bit more Jedi Fallen Order. Guess who's going for all the collectibles because I need to 1000 gamer score that game as soon as possible to get it uninstalled.
Shock.
Yes. Shock of shocks. There were some secrets in that game where I was like, why? How did I miss this the first time I was here? Like, on the very first planet, literally right outside the ship is a stim upgrade that I missed until I beat the game.
Oh, you didn't go down that well?
Nope. I didn't go down the well.
Dude, I banged my head against that puzzle because that was like the first thing I noticed after I got Force Push. And I banged my head up against that thing for probably a good hour before I finally got that stupid thing.
Yep. I'm just an idiot because I never even found it in the first place. But
to be fair, that first world has a ton of stuff that you could get. Yeah, it's just a lot easier if you go back towards the end with everything.
Yeah, right now I'm doing Zepho is my current planet for trying to wrap up the collectibles and achievements. Zepho is a lot bigger than you think. A lot bigger than you think. Like, that planet is insanely huge. But, you know, it's Fallen Order. I enjoy the game a lot. Hopefully you haven't been spoiled on it. Go play. Like, don't watch commercials, so on and so forth. That from the previous episode still counts.
Yeah.
Playing some Talos Principle. Obviously, we're not going to write that down or mention it too much. That's this month's Game Club game.
I've been playing a lot of that.
Just as a gentle reminder, that is this month's Game Club game, and it's bigger than you think.
God, I unlocked something. Obviously, not spoilers. I unlocked something earlier today where it's like, oh, I can use this thing to get into another door. And behind there was like another set of puzzles and another thing where it's like, oh, cool. Now I have more hidden stuff to find. Okay, this game just keeps getting bigger.
So you're saying it's more than just petting a white cat?
Yes, that's right. Talos Principle so far is very good.
Yes. It's one of those few games that I am a 50-50 on puzzle games. Some I love, some I hate.
Yeah.
It's one of those games where when you figure out, you feel like a genius. It's just like, oh, that, that was, I'm feeling pretty good about that. Like, really good for me.
Especially with some of the more complex puzzles where it's like, all right, I think I can see like 3 or 4 moves ahead here. I think I figured it out. And when you execute that, it's like, yep, that's right. Certified genius right here. This guy.
Yeah, and it's fun. I'm really glad it's on Game Pass because that's $50.
I somehow scooped it up for super cheap, the deluxe edition on PS4 that has the DLC that I'll never play. I also went to go get it digitally, and I was like, oh, maybe my disc drive is broken-ish on my PS4. Oh, it's $50. Slap that disc right in there. Let's open that box up.
Until like 2 days later, Epic Games had it up for free.
They did, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I was already like 30 puzzles deep, and I'm like, I can't start this back over. I can't do that.
My problem is there's missable achievements, so I might have to play this more than once. So
yeah,
fun.
I might also have to do that.
Okay, now we get on to the meat and two veg of my Christmas. Yes. So my hard drive space is minimal at the moment.
Yes.
This is a giant pet peeve for my wife.
Okay.
But also at the same time, I wasn't feeling anything particularly taxing over the break. Like, I played some Apex Legends, I played some Dead by Friday, but I wasn't feeling like... I keep smacking myself in the face and saying, play The Surge. This is a game that you have that you know you will enjoy. Play The Surge. Just play The Surge. Just load it up and start playing The Surge.
It's there.
Then I think to myself, but I've only got an hour until I go to bed, and then I don't really feel like playing something that I'm going to focus right now. And my wife happened to pick up the Walking Dead collection on deep discount like about a year ago, so I haven't played that. So why not play a game that I've played everything inside of it before?
Sure.
Why not? So I started and finished the Walking Dead collection.
Okay.
Which is not the Walking Dead collection.
Oh, what?
Yep. So this came out, I'm pretty sure this came out when Telltale were heading very quickly into financial difficulties.
Right.
So the Walking Dead collection is The Walking Dead Season 1, The Walking Dead Season 2, The Walking Dead A New Frontier, 400 Days, which is, that New Frontier is Season 3, 400 Days, which was the DLC for Season 1, and Michonne, which was the standalone. Did not include the final season.
Okay. I forgot about the final season. Right.
To play the final season, you need the Walking Dead Definitive Collection.
Oh, Christ. I hate you, video games.
So there's like 17 different collections available, basically, for these games. But the Walking Dead collection, the one that doesn't have the final season in.
Non-definitive.
The non-definitive edition.
The Okayest collection.
That one doesn't include the final season. However, it is 4,000 gamer score.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm. So I started the Walking Dead collection and played all the way through 5 Walking Dead games in like 2 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, that's not a ton of game time.
No, it's not. Oh, speaking of which, by the way, I've also played and finally got that final achievement in Oxenfree. I made everybody hate me.
Nice.
The you'll love this, Boston. The game time clock that Xbox shows is like, I think it's like 14 hours and 6 minutes or something like that. To do basically, because I did 3 playthroughs, 1, 2, and then this final one to make everybody hate me, because I had 1 achievement left in the game and I need to uninstall stuff, and it's like literally 1 playthrough, so I might as well just get that achievement anyway.
Yeah, it's like 4 hours and just bang it out.
Yeah, so I made everybody hate me. I got that last achievement and I uninstalled it, and then I happened to check on True Achievements, and the time difference between my first achievement in that game and my last achievement in that game is 903 days.
Nice.
So that's good.
900 days that I've had this thing installed with 1 achievement left, essentially.
Right.
So now it's uninstalled. That's good. That's off my plate. I don't have to worry about Oxenfree anymore. Expect my completed games in 2020 to be a lot higher than the 30 or whatever I did in 2019, folks.
Right.
Because I am going to clean some of this stuff out before the madness starts of the summer.
Yeah, before Series X comes along.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I played the Walking Dead collection, and I shed a single tear at the end of The Walking Dead Season 1, which in my opinion is still one of the greatest stories ever told in video games.
Thank you, Gary Whitta.
Yes, thank you, Gary Whitta, for your hard work. I felt that Season 2 and Season 3 are above average, but not as good as Season 1. Michonne is still fantastic for the risks that it took and also the storytelling it takes place with. Like, the mind games it does is very Dead Space 3 / psychological, like, viewpoints. Like, the way it tells the story is very, very good. I still like the Michonne series. 400 Days is whatever, I don't care. So yeah, 4,000 gamer score, nice and neat. I basically... I got 35,000 gamer score last year, Boston. Look at who you're talking to, and I got 35,000 gamer score. That is a shockingly low amount.
Yeah.
4,000 of that was December.
Knocking a lot of hard achievements out.
It's
not quantity, it's quality.
Dude, I'm so close to like 500,000. Like, so close.
Yeah.
Like, I need my 500,000. Granted, I'm still like 75,000 gamer score away from that, but whatever.
Well, let me tell you about the Walking Dead Definitive Edition.
Don't, because it's occurred to me that I could probably do that, and it's probably
it has that
5,000.
brand new graphical filter. You play it again for the first time,
and apparently everything in it has been up-resed and everything in it has been smoothed and so on. I don't buy any of that for a second. This is Telltale we're talking about. There's no way they did any of the stuff.
Yeah, but now it's like pseudo Telltale. Like, they're just...
But the thing is, I don't know if the definitive edition was pseudo Telltale or actual Telltale. Like,
I think it's the company that's wearing Telltale's coat.
Oh, it's the 2 kids in a hat Telltale.
Yeah, exactly. I'd like to get into this movie.
But yes, I played the Definitive Collection. It was fun. I still like those series. Then I played The Walking Dead, the final season. Oh, boy. Let's just... I don't actually know how to say this without sounding very, very mean.
Okay.
You can tell that this was a struggle.
Yeah.
Because, number one, it's only 4 episodes. It's not 5, it's 4. The first episode is really big and chunky and meaty, and it's really well told. And then gradually, episode 2 is shorter, 3 is shorter, and then 4 is shorter. So it shortens those down. As the end of Telltale was reached, you can see the shortening of these episodes' length. They went for they redid the engine something serious for this. Like, it's not you don't have a mouse pointer anymore. It's essentially a third person choose your own adventure game now.
Wow. Okay.
Which is really cool. There is so much stuff about it that I genuinely love. And then the animations look like a robot is being controlled by a puppet.
Wow, bummer. Just like, I love that, like, there's 2 sliders, like, one, the engine got so much better and the animations got worse.
Yeah. The voice acting is still 10 out of 10. Perfect voice acting. All the characters are back because the final season of The Walking Dead is the last of Clementine's story. So that is the last
focused on her again.
Yes. So New Frontier was focused on the guy and the girl, and I can't remember their names. I wish I could remember what
the memorable characters.
Yes,
Yeah.
those memorable people.
The ones you literally just played
4 weeks ago. Hold on.
So good.
David is the older brother. I know his name because he's an a-hole.
Just a regular dude's name.
He's the Kenny of that season.
There's always got to be a Kenny. There's always a Lighthouse, and there's always a Kenny.
Isabella's the girl, the young girl. Crap, I don't know. Whatever. It's
so
New Frontier is a good season, but it's not the people you care about in The Walking Dead. Clementine is in that season, but you don't control Clementine. She is her own being at that point. But the thing they did with the New Frontier was they did the Batman thing, where the New Frontier ends with what type of Clementine you have created and let loose into the world. Like the way they did with the Joker and the Batman Telltale games. Like, this is your Joker. They did that, but with Clementine. So what type of Clementine have you shooed off into the world for the final chapter?
That's cool.
The final chapter is genuinely a fantastic story. Like, it's a really good story. It's a really good setting. I'm not going to lie, I may have cried like 4 times while playing the final chapter.
Sure. I mean, we were talking about Avengers Endgame in the pre-show. It's like, you've been carrying this story for 10 years. It's going to get to you. I
mean, it's one of those things, like, I went into the final chapter. I waited this long to play it because I was scared. I didn't want the experience that started with season 1 to end in the way the company ended. Like, that was my biggest concern, was I don't want this literally like 10-year experience that I've been on with these characters to end in a wet fart. And I was very worried about that, but I loaded it up, I played through it. They changed the achievements. There is now collectibles and specific choices and mini games and achievements related to them.
You
Number 1,
jerks.
Why would you do that?
Number 1, how dare you?
I hate to say this because I am the achievement person. I almost said the wrong word there. I said the bad word.
An achievement lover.
I'm the achievement person of this group.
Right.
Do you know how many games get sold at like $5 that make 2, 3, 4, 500,000 sales because they are quick and easy achievement games?
Oh, totally, yeah.
Like, how many sales are you literally taking people away from because you literally changed the way the achievements are set up?
Yeah.
It's like, why would you do that? Why would you change it when everybody wants a specific way?
And who's going to play through this multiple times? Like, you're choosing your story. That's one of the selling points of this. So if you finish it and you're like, well, you got 250 achievement points, and it's like, well, why?
Where's my other 750? Thank you very much.
Yeah, like, I'm not going to play this again. I already saw the story.
And let me tell you, that story is great. Really, really good. Again, voice acted fantastically well. Deliberately see it coming a mile off, kick you in the heartstring moments.
Oh no, like season 1.
Like season 2. Season 2 has one specifically that's reused again in this, and I don't care how often you reuse it, it will get me every single time. And if you know season 2, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's incredible storytelling in a really, really questionable engine by a company that was dying as it was putting it out.
Yeah.
That was literally dead by the time the final episode came out, I should actually say. So the fact that it tells as strong of a story as it does, I'm impressed with. If you are a fan of The Walking Dead, go and play these games. Like, if you liked season 1 and you haven't played any of the others, I did a quick search before we did the show today. You can get the complete collection, not the definitive collection, the complete collection for
not
like
the definitive.
Not the dead definitive. And he
hire this man for marketing.
You can get that for like $20, like at Best Buy and
cheap.
Walmart and stuff. That's number 1, 4,000 gamer score if you're an achievement fiend like I am.
Yep.
Number 2, that's like 20 hours of gameplay of a really solid story for like less than 2 movie tickets. So go give it a go. And if you like it, play the final collection, because I'm not going to say it pays off season 1, because I don't think anything can pay off season 1. That is probably the best storytelling in a single game I've ever played. but it pays off the overall arc in such a magnificent way, and I literally can't say more because there are giant spoilers all around.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah. AJ is in this, though, which is cool, who is the kid from Season 3.
Nice.
So that's cool. It's great. That's all I'm going to say on that. Moving on from The Walking Dead, go try those games. I played Minit.
Yeah, Minit. I love Minit.
And to repeat my Twitter joke, it took a minute. Because
Heyo.
literally between the time it took me to start and beat the game, True Achievements didn't do a scan on me. So literally my Twitter feed was, I started the game Minit. I finished the game Minit. It's like,
yeah.
Cool. It was like 4.5 hours, I think.
Yeah, it's not super long.
That's a really good game.
Yeah, I really like Minit a lot.
Really well done. Like the whole cursed sword, like whole you have 60 seconds, go and do what you can in this time. It's linear, but not so linear.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like a really solid, quick. Here is a nice, simple. Like I said, I was in the mood for simple experiences. I had Minit was pretty good and simple.
And it never overstays its welcome. Like a non 100% run through can probably take you 2 hours.
Mm-hmm. I think my first run through was like 2:45. Then I went for the speed run playthrough, and that was 37 minutes.
Yeah, because it has to be a less than 40-minute run, right?
Less than 40 minutes, less than 25 deaths.
Right.
And then I did the New Game Plus, which literally took me 7 minutes.
Yeah, it's shockingly fast. Yeah. Minit's cool. I think it has one of my favorite art styles of any 1-bit game. Like, I feel like it gets that style right.
Yeah. It feels like a minimalist ode to the Zelda franchise. Like,
yep.
With its own, obviously, specific little spin on the fact that you're only alive for 60 seconds at a time.
Mm-hmm.
But by doing that, it severely limits your possibilities of getting stuck. Because it's really difficult to get stuck when you can't somehow magically end up on the other side of the planet without the thing that you need to progress.
Right.
Like, how are you going to get all the way over there if you don't have this thing that you need to progress? Simple, you can't, because it's so well programmed that the thing you need to do next is always within 60 seconds away from where you start.
Yeah,
It's really smart design, really smart, like you said, like the 1-bit style is fantastic. It's fun, it's stupid, it's on Game Pass, it gets a Game Pass pass, go Game Pass!
Soundtrack is incredible.
Yes. Also, the fact that you can hit the jukebox in the bar and change the music a whole bunch is hilarious.
Yep. Really great. Go try a Minit. It's great.
Yeah. It's on Game Pass for both PC and Xbox right now. So
there you go.
Go give it a shot. That's what I did. Like I said, I'm in the mood for dumb, don't think games, and that was my game of choice. And it's genuinely fun.
Yep.
And my final game this week is probably my dumbest game this week, as much as The Walking Dead Definitive / Collection achievements. Are you ready because you know what this is?
No, I'm just, you said the dumbest, and I was like, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, it's the dumbest because it's a game that our community members have been talking about to you and me specifically for a while. Because this was mentioned to you, I think, pre-Game of the Year, and you tweeted something about Game of the Year. And I think it was Naked Pair responded with, is it the dumb train game? And
yeah.
My wife saw that and was like, what's this dumb train game? So my wife downloaded it and played it. And then I saw it and I downloaded and played it. It's Tracks, the train building, the train set collection. I don't know. It's something to do with trains.
It's very long title.
Yes. Basically, this is a wooden train set, like the old school wooden train set.
Right.
Game where you build tracks and you
build wooden train tracks.
Yes. And you ride the wooden train around the room that you're in to collect passengers and then drop them off at a station.
Yep.
Or you just build the dumbest track you want to build and then you just ride the truck around or the train around. And you have a little whistle, and it whistles, and it goes, toot, toot.
And that's it.
That's literally it. The entirety of the game is build these wooden tracks, take these passengers to places, and then... The funny thing is, it has like free play mode and whatever, and it has the passengers mode. And on the passengers mode, it'll be like, okay, 15 passengers have just spawned.
Mm.
It doesn't tell you where. Somewhere in this room that you have, you are in, there are little passengers, which is literally little wooden ball men, like a big ball and a little ball.
Yeah.
And they're just somewhere on a table. So you then have to go and build a station by them and then build the tracks to get to that station.
Oh,
and then
wow.
to the actual like drop-off point, and then away from the drop-off point to get to the next one, and so on and so forth. Spoiler alert, you can cheat and just reset your start point, so you can reset your start point to right by the passengers, pick them all up, then reset it to the finish point and put them down there, and then you've done it. But I'm not doing it that way. I'm actually building the tracks because I never really had any of these trains as a kid. Because
you're a serious tracksman.
Yes. I wasn't born in 1922, so I had like Scalextrics and slot cars.
We just bought a set of that for my kid because she like saw it in a catalog. She's 3, so she basically said, I need that. It's like, all right, it's like good for your dexterity and good for your problem solving. Sure, why not? So I should download that and play it in 2 places.
I would love to see what your kid would think about this. Like, because it's a room that she can build the tracks in and you don't have to clean up after her. The tracks float.
Say it again.
The best part about having a playroom is you don't have to clean it up. You just turn around and shut the door and walk away.
That's right. Turn the lights off and leave.
The tracks float, so you don't have to worry about, like, if the tracks want to go from the couch to the floor, you don't have to build a bookcase, like, steps downwards. They just float. Like, download it, install it, show it to her while she's around, and then see what she thinks. Because then you can go into first-person mode in the train and then just drive the train around the tracks.
That's pretty good.
Give it a shot and see what she says. I'm genuinely
It's called Tracks, a whole bunch of other words.
Something.
It's called, hang on, I wrote this down. It's something to do with trains.
There we go. Tracks, it's something to do with trains.
There we go.
It's dumb.
Yes.
And fun.
I mean, it is. I'm having a lot of fun with the game. Even
you were looking for simple experiences, and Game Pass
and I found the simplest.
Yeah, that's right. We were talking earlier about complex board games being turned digital. They have taken the simplest wooden toys and made those digital.
Yeah, exactly. It's literally the type of thing you see in every Christmas movie Santa's Elves making, even though it's 2020. You'll still see them, and they're still
a train set.
Mm-hmm. Is all we make.
Lincoln Logs 2020.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what?
It's my DJ name. Lincoln Logs 2020.
It wouldn't surprise me if that exists on Game Pass at some point. Also, quick question. What is Lincoln Logs?
They are basically buildable. They're these long logs that are supposed to look like wooden logs. Have you seen a wooden cabin before?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's basically that concept. And they're just called Lincoln Logs.
Okay.
Yeah. They're wooden, they have the notches in them. You build a log cabin and that's it.
Among other crazy things, you could have a 2-bedroom log cabin or a whole single-room log cabin, whatever your imagination wants. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Maybe you'll build some fencing because you don't know how to build a log cabin.
That's right.
But yes, that's all I've been playing.
All right, Nimp, how about you?
All right. So, for Christmas, we picked up both Pokemon games for my kids. So my son is playing Sword, my daughter is playing Shield. Due to probably questionable parenting, within a week and a half, my son has already beaten Sword.
Hey, if he's being quiet, then all the more power to you.
No, you just need to feed him into the shiny hunt so he stays quiet forever.
That's right.
He
Hatch
is
those
doing
eggs
that by himself, and he is helping my daughter with her game as well.
Wow.
Yes.
The way it should be.
That's right.
So, but with those games, we also got them new controllers. We picked them up the Power A wireless Switch controllers.
Okay.
Which are half the price of a Pro controller, but it's just a Pro controller.
These are the third-party ones, right?
Yes, they do have the Nintendo official licensing seal on them and all that, but they are
so it's not going to blow up your Switch.
Yeah, but it is made by a company called Power A. My son got the Link one, which looks really cool. It's green, has Link in black up against the end. It's kind of hard to see unless you're looking right at it. And it has the golden D-pad. My daughter got the Zelda one, which is all white with Zelda in the middle, and it has a like angelic blue D-pad.
That's cool.
Okay.
They both work great.
Nice.
They also have extra buttons underneath, 2 extra buttons for some reason that you can program to do whatever you want. So
yeah, there we go.
That's cool. And like I said, they're half the price. Haven't had any issues with them at all.
Nice.
Which leads us into the game that I actually played with my kids, which was Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3.
Oh, yeah, the controller issue game.
Now that we have those 2 controllers and the actual Pro controller and the Joy-Cons, we can play as an entire family in this game.
Aha.
The 2 brand new controllers and the Pro controller still work fine. Joy-Con is actual garbage, which is why I was playing with the Joy-Cons. Because
there you go. It took one for the team.
Yeah, it was my wife's first time playing this game, and I already told her up front, you are going to get lost in where your character is at. You're not going to know what's going on, but it's basically just Diablo with Marvel characters.
Yep, just keep hitting the A button and stuff's going to happen.
And she's like, oh, okay, I can get behind that. So she picks Gamora because she's like, I'm really liking the green chick with the double-handed sword. I'm like,
there you go.
Have at it.
Yeah.
So she's maining Gamora right now. My son's still playing as Chef Deadpool. My daughter goes back and forth between Gwen, Spider-Gwen, and the Hulk, because it just depends on what her mood is. And
it's about as like wide of a flip as there could possibly be, really.
Yeah.
And then I'm just kind of jumping in with whoever. I've mostly been playing with Wolverine just to level him up, but I don't really have an attachment to anyone per se. I just like everybody. So we've beaten Ultron, which I don't know how far into the game that is. I don't think I'm that far into the game still after owning it for this long, but we did manage to complete that as a family. That was a task. My wife got the hang of it pretty fast. The only issue with that boss battle is it did the thing where you have the boss. So basically Ultron and Ant-Man are fighting Giant in New York City, and you are on, I believe you're actually on Stark Tower or Avenger Tower, whatever it's called in this part. And you're not directly fighting Ultron. Ultron is sending goons at you. You are fighting them, and then you are jumping onto these turrets to shoot Voltron once Ant-Man basically gets them into a chokehold. Fine and dandy until they start sending all these other characters or enemies at you, where eventually, instead of just shooting Ultron, you have these 4 floating guys that shoot the people on the cannon, so you have to try to shoot them first. But you have to coordinate your firepower on them to take them out before they attack your characters, which blows you off of the turret. Which normally wouldn't be an issue, except for when you're trying to do it with 2 kids and a wife who just started picking it up.
Right. Yeah. Coordination is not going to be your strong suit right now.
No. We showed up as a team and we left as a family.
Okay, that's good. So it's not like the new Super Mario Brothers, where it's just divorce the game.
No. I mean, you could get angry, but I know I've yelled at my son a couple times about things. But
right, get your head in the game.
Yeah, exactly. Dude. So because he's playing as Deadpool regenerates, and so does Wolverine, which is why we threw him in the party, so we just had another character that can regenerate by themselves. There had been times, just like in the previous Alliance games, where he is the only one alive, and he's sitting there gloating about it. I'm like, the only reason you are alive is because Deadpool is level 28, and he regenerates health. Everybody else is level 15. Back off.
Right. Chill out.
But yeah, besides that, it's still a fun game. We played it off and on here a little bit. We got a little bit past Ultron, and then we all kind of fizzled out on it because my wife was having a hardcore time keeping track of Gamora. And that's still my biggest complaint with this game is it's not easy to keep track of your character.
Yeah.
You're jumping around a lot just to try to figure out where you're at, to realize you're punching at air or the wall. But we're at the point now where there's enough flying enemies in the air that now it's hard to tell where you're jumping at because everything is moving everywhere. So
right, yep.
But we'll get used to it. We're gonna play more of it here coming up probably next weekend. Maybe hopefully beat the game one day. I don't know. The next game that I had played was the Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition. I was actually showing Busted and Moon, and I tweeted the pictures of the massive box because I bought the stupid collector's edition box.
It's very cool.
Yes. This is the Enhanced Edition, which was out on PC. You can get it on Steam. It's been out for, I think, like a year or two now on PC.
Yeah.
They are just now moving them to consoles. I got the Xbox One edition. Just because I got Pillars of Eternity on that forever ago, so I'm just keeping everything together. The controls for this game aren't bad. It's just trying to wrap my mind around it to get used to it, because I'm used to applying, like, Pillars of Eternity did a really good job with the controlling scheme, and they kind of modernized it a little bit. With Baldur's Gate, since it's such an old game, they tried to modernize it, but
they tried to monetize it?
Yeah, monetize it, yeah.
Yeah.
They try to modernize it, but it's such an old game that there's not a whole lot they can really do with it.
Right.
Yeah.
It still controls fine. I just have to wrap my mind around how they had to do the scheming for it. But there are a ton of options in this game to help alleviate the kind of wonky controlling scheme for it, where you can go into the game and you can select when this game pauses automatically, which for most people, they're like, well, why would you want it to? Well, because this is kind of a strategy game as well.
Right.
You don't just run into a room and start blowing stuff up. You have to actually think about what character's doing what and when they are doing it. You have to worry about area of effect spells because, hey, guess what? Just because you threw a fireball down the hallway doesn't mean it's only going to attack the enemy. It's going to get everything in that hallway, so you need to make sure nobody else is in there.
Right.
So you can have a ridiculous amount of play with when the game pauses. I had it set up where I was just like, let's just turn it all on and see what happens. And every time something happened in that game, it would pause. That way it would let you, that way you could figure out what was happening. And I'm talking cool. Like your character walked a couple steps and someone said something to him, game paused. That way you could read the text and all that. So obviously I brought that back down because I don't need it to pause every time I move 2 feet.
Right.
But the fact that they give you that option where you can set it up so that it's, like in battles, it's a lot more helpful. What are you smiling about, Moon?
Oh, my
Dwight is waking up. Yeah.
So in battles, it's a lot more helpful because you can set it where anytime your character gets ready to cast a spell, does cast a spell, loses health, an enemy does damage to you or whatever, the game can pause and you can set it up to do that. That way you can not lose track of what's happening.
Right.
You can get to a point where a lot of things are happening at once on screen and a lot of things are being hurt and you're not entirely sure who or what's being hurt and you're not entirely sure how to react to that. So it helps a lot. And it's really great.
Well, especially for people that might be playing this the first time and they haven't played stuff in that genre. It's like there's too much stuff happening. Like I don't even know where to start.
Well, and it's based off of Advanced Dungeons and Dragons because that's when this game came out. That was the D&D system that was in play.
Right.
So you're looking at like THACO systems, which I haven't had to think of since Advanced Dungeons and Dragons in the 90s.
Right. I literally came back to the worst word ever.
But there's a lot of stuff like that where if you've never played Dungeons and Dragons, you're not going to know what a lot of this stuff is. You're not going to know what a lot of it does. So that
you got a real learning curve.
Yeah. So, and it's not difficult to learn, and it's not like the game's just like, all right, figure it out. They do have a ton of tutorial things in there where they've got a bunch of new units that they put in the first area that wasn't there in the original game, where you go through and you talk to all of them and they will explain to you, hey, this is what your AC means. This is how you do damage. You know, this is how you can put abilities in. This is how, you know, this is what a THACO rating is. You know, that kind of stuff.
Right.
It is a lot of reading because it is an old game. This isn't a complete overhaul on Baldur's Gate. This is the original Baldur's Gate.
It just doesn't come with a 100-page manual anymore.
Yeah, exactly. That's just all in-game text now.
Exactly.
Yeah, you have character customization, which I found hilarious because your character is on screen, at least on my big TV screen, they're maybe like an inch tall on the screen.
Right.
And you have the option of changing their primary and their secondary colors, which is basically their hair and what their clothes look like, and that's it.
Yeah,
Everything is so pixelated on the screen that you don't get like face definition or anything.
Like, it's all just a blob.
Which is fantastic to me, because that's how I remember these games. You know, at least Icewind Dale. Because I've never played Baldur's Gate when it first came out. When I learned about these games was around the time Icewind Dale came out. That was the series I started with. Then I found out that there was a Baldur's Gate. But by that time, internet was still kind of flimsy for buying games.
Yeah.
And nobody had copies of... And plus back then, for PC games, people would buy them and they would just throw them out when they were done with it, or they would save them.
Yep.
So there wasn't really a way to get a used PC game that was no longer in print.
Right.
So this is my first foray into that. I'm really enjoying it. I didn't get a whole lot of time with it. It was mostly just getting through the first area. I've got a full standard party, wizard, rogue. I've got my fighter, all that fun stuff. And I am looking forward to just wrecking house with these guys. Or getting my stuff wrecked, because these games get hard real fast.
Probably both.
Anytime anybody talks about Baldur's Gate style games, it just gives me that itch to go and play Ars Arcanum again. One of the most broken style of these games ever.
I forgot about that game.
Yeah, everybody did. That's why it's so broken.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got probably, I don't know, like 200 hours worth of games sitting there that came with that collection. Because you get Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. God, what do you get? Icewind Dale, Neverwinter Nights, and Planescape Torment.
That's a lot of games.
Each of the and all the DLC that came with those originally, the expansion packs. So each of those games is probably about a good 40 to 50 hours, if not more.
Yep.
Yeah.
So a lot of gameplay ahead of me.
Yeah. Wow.
The next game that I briefly played, I decided that this is going to be a long intro to this game.
Okay.
I decided to go on a mission since I first started this game last year.
Was it impossible?
Okay.
No.
Did Limp Bizkit play the theme tune?
He will be. It's just one of those days.
That's right.
So, I've been staring at an Excel sheet on my computer for the last year on something that I wanted to do with this game.
Okay.
You're amongst Excel spreadsheet friends here.
Okay, let's take a guess.
Hang on. And over the holiday, I decided to execute this plan.
Okay.
Now go ahead and take your guess.
Okay, so, Boston, it's a game that needs an Excel sheet.
An Excel sheet with multiple books.
Oh,
okay.
no.
I got two guesses. Boston, you go first.
I don't have any. Like my first guess would be Elite Dangerous, but you're already playing that, so it's not a new thing.
He doesn't need an Excel sheet for that. He's got the apps.
There you go.
Okay, so two guesses. Listener, shout at your listening device now your guess. Thank you very much. Well done. Two guesses from me. Eve, but I don't think he's going to go for Eve because he already has Elite.
Right.
And Warframe is the other one.
Warframe was the only thing I was thinking of, but I didn't know if that was a spreadsheet game.
Yes, that's a spreadsheet game.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah.
So my guess is Warframe.
So, no to those. Boston was actually right. It's Elite Dangerous.
Aha. He tricked us.
And what this is the trip to Sagittarius A.
You're going to go for it? Yes.
So,
yes.
For those of you that don't know, or for any kids listening, Sagittarius A is the massive black hole, believed supermassive black hole in the center of our Milky Way galaxy.
Okay.
In Elite Dangerous, it's a 1-to-1 map of our galaxy.
Oh,
so,
no.
this thing is 25,640 light years from Earth.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
And I decided that if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. So I launched from the Galileo lunar port on our moon in the game. And I am currently 2,105 light years away, which does not even put me in the center of the quadrant of our part of the Milky Way galaxy.
Was that like 8%?
Not even.
Wow.
It's a haul. I think that journey took me I think it was like 38 hours just to make that journey there and back, because specifically I wanted the scanning data. So like basically in Elite Dangerous, there's a whole bunch of tracks you can do: commerce, combat, whatever. One of those is Explorer. You go to a system, you scan all the planets in that system you can do it individually. You can go and scan each individual planet, or you can just have this one big thing that goes and then scans the whole system. They
basically call it honking a system.
Yes,
so it basically sounds like you're honking your horn. Yeah.
You jump in, you do that, you jump out, and basically you take that data to a spaceport. And when you take that data to a spaceport, you can sell it for credits. The further away this scan is from that port, the more money it's worth. So if you go and scan the next system over, that's like 2 credits. If you go 1,000 light years, that's a lot more credits.
Gotcha.
And then it gets even more fun, because if you scan a gas giant, it's a gas giant. Who cares? Nobody cares about gas giants. You scan a water world, not the one with Kevin Costner, the other type,
sadly,
or an Earth-like planet. That is a very rare find, so that's worth considerably more credits, along with black holes. Black holes and binary stars, or is it binary? No, what is it? What's the name of the star when it's
neutron?
Small? Yes, a neutron.
Oh, the
star.
quasars.
When you scan one of those or black holes, it's also worth a lot of money. Problem with those are, you get too close, you die.
Okay.
If you die, you lose all of your scanning data.
Oh no.
Yep.
So yeah.
So the Excel sheet that I have, no, you're fine. The Excel sheet that I have was a potential path of things that I wanted to check out in the game as I was heading towards the center of our galaxy. So it's everything from checking out like a couple nebulas to a couple black holes here and there, just random stuff. But I don't have a definitive route. Everything's just kind of generally leading me in this direction. As Moon said, it took him about 36 hours to do it. Some people have been able to get it done within 10 hours if you hit a couple
if you
of
literally mainline
right.
it.
Yeah. Other people, if you're doing it and scanning everything in, it can take you up to 2 weeks.
Jeez.
I'm probably going to be that fool that's going to be doing this for like a month and a half.
Right. So check in every week on this very show.
Exactly, because once I hit the center of the galaxy, I'm thinking of continuing and hitting up Colonia, which is the only man-made spaceport on that side of the galaxy. Because in the game, we still haven't fully... we haven't fully explored the map either, but they haven't.
Referred to the
humanity
bubble.
Hasn't spread.
Yeah, we refer to the bubble, which is like, if you look at the spiral of our galaxy, the bubble is the 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 systems that humans have inhabited at this point in time, and if the galaxy is this huge saucer, the bubble is a dollop of ketchup in the bottom left-hand corner of that saucer.
Gotcha.
And then Sagittarius A is right in the middle, and then you've still got the whole of the galaxy after Sagittarius
another
A.
half of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
It's insane.
And that's not even including the up and down, the X or the Y.
The X
this
and the Y
just
axis.
the X. Yeah. Because there was actually a stat that I saw that come up. We still in the game have only explored 0.0084% of the galactic map.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and that's people playing this game hardcore on PC and all other systems.
Yep.
Jeez.
My small hint for you, Nimp, would be on your way to Sagittarius A, go essentially north by about 1,000 light years. So come out of the bubble and go north straight up like by 1,000 light years, because right up above the normal plane is a black hole field. And it's literally jump black hole, jump black hole, jump black hole, jump black hole, and it's amazing and terrifying, and it's worth so much money.
I'm already picking up discrepancies in my star map where there's just like sections where the map's like, I don't know.
Yeah, we're through it.
Yeah, and I've gone there, and there's just like black holes hanging out. There was one that I came across that had 3 black holes in the area.
Jeez.
That was terrifying because you don't see them until you're almost on top of you. Like your systems are going off and it's telling you that it's there. You can't see it.
Yeah. Oh man.
It's the same with the neutron stars. Like the neutron stars are like these tiny little pinpricks of light, but because they have such a dense gravity, you will get pulled into them really quick because this tiny little pinprick of light has the biggest gravitational pull that you've seen in the game.
Yeah, because you see, unless you shut it off, the game will show you, okay, this ring represents the gravitational, event horizon for this star, planet, whatever. You go into this, it's going to pull you out of Super Cruise, and it's going to start pulling you, towards it. When you come across a neutron star or a quasar, like you were saying, it's this tiny little prick, but you do not see that circle, that event horizon, because it is so huge that it's not on your screen. So you have to all stop, turn around, and fly away so you can figure out where you can safely fly around this thing.
Oh, jeez.
Mm-hmm. It's that Titanic moment where they're like, full reverse!
Yeah. Right.
And depending on the size of your ship.
Yeah. What ship did you take? Because I took an Asp Explorer.
Yeah, that's what I'm using right now, too.
Mm-hmm.
I have this thing pretty much stripped all the way down to nothing. I do have shields. Everyone kept saying, don't bother with shields, just use armor. And I'm like, no, because it's only taking away 1 light year. Yeah,
shields.
And it's that extra bit of protection from everything. So
I did the dumbest thing because on the way back, I finally got back into the bubble, and I was like, it's been days of literally listening to stuff and jumping, scanning. I just want to get to the nearest port, dock, and sell this because the credits, I think I walked away with 56 million credits from my scanning experience, which is not a small chunk of money in that game. And I was like, I'm just going to get to this port, I'm going to dock, and I'm going to sell all my junk, and I'm going to be happy. So I got to the nearest port, and then I crashed into the port on the way back, because I didn't have my autopilot on.
Oh, no.
Like, crap, I'm going to have to manually dock this, and it's been 40 hours since I manually docked onto one of these stations. I hope I don't die.
Jeez.
Yeah, don't forget to call in your request to dock. And,
yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm working on. I don't know. I was actually surprised because I am not used to quitting the game just in space. I usually always dock somewhere.
It's scary when you do it.
Nothing happens to your ship while you're gone. Once you save and close out the game, your ship basically just disappears so that nobody else can mess with you, and it'll reappear in the same area when you log back in and all that. But it's just the simple point of I am used to being docked in somewhere when I log back in. So when you log in and it's just the blackness of space, and there is nothing around you. I did manage to find one planet-side port out in the middle of nowhere somehow. It was still 500 light years from where I was at. I was like, I am going to fly out there.
If memory serves, I think that was one of the community goals. Where they were trying to do the whole community expansion, where the community helps towards the community goals and does the expansion. And I think they did the first phase of it, which got the planetary side, and then they failed at the second version of it, which got the orbital in the station.
So I am currently set up at Hillary Depot, which is where I saved my game, and I haven't gotten back to it yet. But
oh man,
I love this game, which is why I can't play it all the time, because that's all I play.
Hey, Boston, for 2020, may I recommend a little game called Elite Dangerous?
May I respectfully say no?
Come on. You know you'd love it.
I probably would.
So it's only the littlest of games.
Yeah, it's only, it's fully explored. Everything's great. It's just the size of Outer Wilds.
You don't even
8
have
planets.
to leave the bubble. You don't have to go to Sagittarius A at all.
Yeah.
I did it for
But what if I
That's
could?
why I did it. Yes,
yeah.
Exactly.
There are crazy people that try to see how far outside of our galactic map they can fly before they have to turn back around before they run out of fuel. And there's a very famous fuel rat story about this one guy got his Anaconda really far out there outside of our galaxy, past the point where gravity wasn't even pulling him back towards our galaxy.
Jeez.
And he got stuck. And there's this whole story about how they basically ladder stepped getting fuel to this guy so that they could get him back down so that he could come back and start fueling up again.
Jeez.
Really crazy story.
Man.
So that's Elite Dangerous in a nutshell. The next game that I played was Cold Steel 3. You don't really have to write that one down. This one's kind of just an update. I am halfway through chapter 4. After this, there is a final chapter. I'm really liking what they're doing with the game. I personally am at the point where I kind of am itching for it to get done, but that's not the game's fault, because it's giving me plenty of stuff to want and plenty of stuff to figure out and discover. I'm just getting itchy because I've been playing it forever.
Right. You're ready to be done?
Yes. But it's not... I think the game is justified for being as long as it is. Mm-hmm. It's just I'm getting impatient.
Yeah.
And I have all these other games that I want to play. So I spent a good couple hours just getting through the story and stuff. Like I said, I'm halfway through chapter 4. This is hopefully the last, this one and the final chapter, or hopefully it. Hopefully it doesn't do the JRPG spin where it's like, oh, guess what? 2 more chapters. And
right.
Yeah. So I'm really liking it still. I'm looking forward to beating it.
Yeah.
Next game I played, Code Vein.
Oh.
This is the anime-style Dark Souls game.
Yep.
Yup.
And it is really awesome. I probably spent about 2 hours in the character creator.
I was going to say, isn't this the same one that's got the really vigorous character creator as well?
Yeah, you can do as much or as little as you want with this game.
Yeah.
You can add hats to your character. You can change the size of the hats. You can have multiple hats on top of your character if you would like.
Now we're talking.
Exactly. All the way to changing the type of pupils your character has. I mean,
oh wow.
You can go stupid in depth with this character creator. So I was kind of doing it with my wife because she really enjoys making characters as well. So now I have this long-haired anime woman who I noticed kind of looks like Sathra from behind, just from the hairstyle.
There you
go. But I really enjoyed this game. It's got a nice story to go with it, which is more than I can say for the Souls games for me personally.
Right.
The Souls games are very much like Destiny 1, where all of the story is not where you want to actually read the story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Assuming that you can find the stuff to read to begin with.
Right.
But they have the class system in this game is you can change your class on the fly. So you start out, you get this vestige, which is basically a fighter vestige. It's your fighter class. And you can use certain weapons with it, certain skills that unlock with it. You defeat a certain amount of enemies. It fills a gauge that we all know and love.
Yeah.
And you unlock that skill, and you can use that skill with different classes. So I've got... Oops, hang on. That's my alarm to wake up. Sorry. I have 6 classes right now, like a fighter, a mage, a rogue, and a ranger kind of thing. A couple other ones that are just this mixed class stuff. And the skills that I unlock in one class, I can move over into another class.
Oh no!
And that's just the combating skills. You also have passive skills that you can move that can be used with whatever. But the combating skills have certain conditions where you either have to be using like a 2-handed axe, or you have to be within this certain like stats, like your strength has to be a certain type.
Oh, right.
That kind of thing. So you can't use every you can't use every combat skill with every class, but there's enough crossover that you could start off with a mage that has an axe ability if you want.
Right.
It may not be the strongest thing, but you can do it if you wanted to.
So my question is, to change classes on the fly, do you do a little dance and then change the dress that you're wearing? Because we all know that's the best class change.
That's right. Dress spheres for life, man.
No, you basically just flip over a menu and say, hey, I'm going from this code to this code.
It's a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been messing around with that. The whole story behind this, for people that don't know, is you wake up with amnesia. Stop me if you've heard this before.
Check.
And hey, another plot twist, like with a previous game that I was playing, you wake up with another character who also has amnesia.
As the day of the festival.
Exactly. But basically what has happened was you are all vampires, remnants.
Okay.
And this is the whole apocalyptic thing of vampires have taken over the world and there's not a whole lot of humans left.
Okay.
which is a bad thing for vampires because they need blood. For some reason, they killed this lady called the Queen, and when she died, she set up like this red mist.
Never.
Yeah, exactly. They set up this, when she died, this red mist showed up around this particular part of this world, and that's where you're at, and nobody can get through this red mist. So you're basically alone in this area with very few humans and no real way for vampires to replenish, what their blood, basically. Your character, for some reason, can open up these blood veins. Don't ask me to explain how this works because it hasn't been explained to me yet. But it's basically a tree that gives fruit to these blood-looking droplet things that vampires can use to sustain themselves.
Okay.
Are you curious? Are you actually expecting that to be explained at any point?
I almost hope it won't be.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I am the guy who likes Kojima games where you just get stuff thrown at you.
Yeah.
And I can shut off my brain and be like, no, yeah, that's fine. That makes sense.
The blood trace.
Skull.
Yeah,
why
naturally.
not? Yeah.
Oh boy, have I got a game for you from 2019.
So you find out that you have this ability, and this other vampire that's researching this stuff happens to come across you and is helping you out now. And that's where I'm at in this game, where you are exploring the city around you to try to open up more of these areas to get to more of these blood veins. And that's where I'm at. And that's all I know.
Okay, interesting.
So I will say I don't understand what it is with people making post-apocalyptic games that require parking garages.
Yeah, I don't.
I just made it past a parking garage in this game, and it feels like deja vu with every other apocalyptic game I've ever played.
Yeah.
Honestly, because I think it's the one thing that no matter what city you're in, except maybe Tokyo, they all look the same. So it's a universal thing that's relatable throughout the entirety of the planet.
Yeah.
Yes, but
it's true.
For some reason with this game, it just struck me as really odd. It's like, hey, there's another parking garage. What the heck is going on?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. I'm really looking forward to playing this game, but I pushed this off to a side. This game and another one that I won't be talking about because I haven't actually started are kind of on the back burner right now because I want to beat Cold Steel and my next game. My next game is 2019's Santa Simulator, Death Stranding.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yes.
And I have notes.
We're ready to help you.
Well, and that's the funny. I really love this game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The story is off the wall, which it's kind of what I'm used to getting from Kojima.
Yeah, it's almost like it's sort of, we were talking about it before, where it's sort of like there's a lot of crazy stuff happening in the game, but it's like, yeah, it's a Kojima game. Like it's gonna be this weirdness. I'm ready for it.
Let me talk to you about the Lale Lule Lo.
That's right.
Yep.
The Lale Lule Lo.
That's the kind of dumb stuff that I'm expecting from this game and from anything Kojima touches.
Well, and you are ready for Death Stranding, then.
And I have not been dissatisfied.
Yeah.
Without spoilers,
Do we have a chapter?
6 or 7.
Oh, you're way in it. Okay.
Yeah.
So you've already met the President of the United States, comma, your mother.
Comma, not there anymore. No.
Right.
At this point, you've also already met the Particle of God, wherever his name is. I'm not good with names today. Thank you.
Higgs.
Yeah. I have completed the second supercell.
Okay.
Okay.
Anybody with anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
It took me a minute where I was like, super subs. Oh, right. The big thing. Yes.
Yeah,
gotcha.
It's not really a spoiler. It's just kind of a checkpoint in things. But
yeah.
I really enjoy doing the dumb, stupid delivery missions in this game.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the stuff. That's the good part.
It's mostly the challenge of getting things from point A to point B.
Keep on keeping on.
And I'm not talking like the combat challenges, just the literal.
How do I get up this mountain?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You are a guy that has this package.
I will solve it.
Yep. There is a river in front of me, a steep mountain, and a crater.
Yep.
And I have to get past all 3 of those to get to my destination.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And the dumb stuff of figuring it out and then getting to that area, getting whatever station back on the Cairo network, so that way you can see what everyone else did and threw in there. I mean, it's fantastic. I really, really like that. And just seeing some of the dumb stuff that other people throw in this game for like anchor points, where it's like there's a ladder over here that looks like it's there for no reason, and then you just kind of explore, and then you see, oh, hey, there is actually something kind of odd over here.
Right.
Yep.
Cool.
Or it's like, why did someone build a bridge over there? And it's like, oh, there's actually a person over there. Oh, okay, cool.
Or there's legitimately why did this idiot build this bridge here? It serves absolutely no purpose.
Yeah.
There's a couple
it's like because someone built a road next to it later. It's like, aha.
No, even then, like this one bridge I am thinking of literally goes from one mountain cliff to another. But it doesn't really connect it because it's a sheer wall. Like, you basically have to fall down onto this bridge, and there's nothing
so
you can do.
He didn't build it on top of the cliff. He built it from like cliff face to cliff face.
Yeah, and there's nothing you can do about it.
That's so good.
Why did you build this?
Just
number one,
flop a ladder across it.
Yeah, how did you build this? And two, why did you build this?
Like, my favorite one of those is always the post boxes. It's like enough. With the post boxes, guys.
Right. No one's going to use them, man.
Yeah. Those are all over the place, and I've never used one of them.
Yeah. Also, I used them once, and I was like, oh, I don't get the credit for this? Never mind.
Yep. Like, as an aside, my least favorite thing was something about Carol Strand contracts with other players that I never even touched that. I don't know what that is.
I did. I made one, I think, for a trophy, and that was it.
I don't even know how to, dude.
I think what it's supposed to do is that it makes it so that if, like, say you see my stuff in the game, you can make a Chiral Strand contract with me so that you see more of my stuff in your game.
Yeah, and I think you get more likes.
Is the problem?
It's in your start menu, and then it's under the social tab, and then it's like the only menu in the game that has multiple tabs.
Okay, it's in the start menu, so therefore I didn't look at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Ever.
Yeah.
My 3 biggest complaints with this game.
It's not Tron, because that bike makes me want a Tron game.
Right.
You actually just reminded me. My 4 biggest complaints of this game. Number 1, vehicle physics.
Yeah.
The first vehicle you get is a bike, which is very helpful.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It turns on a dime.
Yeah, as soon as you take it off of a road and there is even a hint of an incline or a decline, that bike is doing crazy physics stuff.
Yep.
And I haven't spilled off of a bike before.
I don't think I ever did.
I was going to say, despite driving up and down a mountain with
a snowy mountainside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just like dumb stuff where it's like this. It's basically got the Batman tumbler wheels in the front, where the bike is nothing but a wheel in the front. And you hit this very tiny rock that shouldn't be doing anything, and all of a sudden you go from full speed to full stop.
Yep.
And it's like, what just happened? And then
you hit a
try, then you bunny hop over it.
Right.
And for some reason you're seesawing. So then you're trying to bunny hop again so that you can boost off the stupid rock so that way you could just keep going. And then, guess what? There's another pebble right behind that one that you're stuck on now.
And heaven forbid you go into water, then it's just no more battery left.
The water I generally just boost through. And it, depending on how wide the river is, it's usually just enough where you don't really feel it. You're basically just eating the cost of that boost.
Not gonna lie, I totally look for like outcroppings and then just try and jump as far as I can into the water just so I can make it to the other side.
I've done that before too.
And that's why I didn't use
really satisfying.
That's why I didn't use a lot of vehicles in the game, because I felt like I spent more time maneuvering through the world and like trying to get up and over rocks and stuff that I could just walk over myself.
Well, and then once you have unlocked the bike, later on you unlock basically a UPS truck.
Yep.
And if you thought the bike had issues,
wait until you raise the truck up.
Exactly.
Yep.
And this is basically my stubbornness, because since I have gotten the truck, that is basically my mobile base. That is where all of my crap is at. I've actually had a couple missions where I needed that truck because you're carrying so much crap that you needed the level 1
halfway.
regular truck, yeah, because it fills up the slots that it has, because you can't carry all that by yourself. And it's basically become my Skyrim walk your horse backwards up a mountain kind of thing.
Right.
Where I am too stubborn to let the truck die where it's at, and I will get this up this mountain, and I have gotten it up a mountain. And I think doing the weird negotiating between the trails and through the rocks and doing the rock climbing and the four-wheeling and even just the regular climbing with Sam, I really enjoy.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about it. It's just something really dumb. In the mountainous area that I am in, I have a random generator in the middle of this area because for me to get to this particular person, I have to go up one side of the mountain, down into a valley away from the guy, then back up the valley on the other side.
Right.
So I have this generator in the middle, so that way I can recharge there and then continue back up the mountain where this other player has put their generator so I can recharge and then climb over the rocky crag to get to this guy with my truck.
Right.
And it's just the dumb stuff that I've taken the time to try to figure out so that way I don't lose that stupid truck.
So,
due to physics.
Really, really quick piece of advice here, because it's something that I'm an idiot about. I can't remember if I talked about it on the show when it happened. At some point, you will gain a method of defending yourself, which is lethal. Don't ever take that with you, ever, anywhere. You will always have non-lethal alternatives.
Yep.
Because
never lethally kill anyone.
Yeah. Around about, I don't know, 25 hours into the game, I forgot that the very first mission was you disposing of a corpse. And I forgot that the reason why that happens is because the corpse essentially goes nuclear, or however you say that word.
White out, yeah.
Yeah. When the Death Stranding whatever things get hold of it. I forgot that and went and killed an entire campment of the stupid people trying to steal your luggage.
The mules?
Yes.
Yeah.
I killed an entire encampment of them on the middle map. So the second map you get to.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
And that encampment was in the southeast corner of the map.
Oh, no.
So I had to drive a truck full of corpses west all the way across the south side of the map, then all the way up the west side of the map, and then east to get to the incinerator to deal with these truck full of corpses that I made so that they wouldn't cause a whiteout and destroy the entire area. At which point I promptly told myself, never kill anything ever again, you bloody idiot.
Yep.
Well, so I have lethal weapons. I haven't used them except for in certain areas where you are supposed to. But the first time I've run across the mules, which is my number 3 complaint.
They don't need to be in the game at all.
No.
They don't, but I enjoy what they are.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy them being in the game, but I like where he was kind of going with this group. But the last time I ran into them, I was going into a new area. And I was bringing my truck through a forested area, and I had to go directly through a mule camp or go through a bunch of BTs.
Right.
So you went through the mules.
Yeah, that'll be my next complaint here. So I went through the mules. Well, vehicle physics, the freaking truck gets stuck on something that I can't see. I get one of their electric spikes or pikes, thrown at me. Truck discharges. It's dead with all of my equipment in it. And I've got this one mission that I need to get this thing dropped off to this other area so I can get my, Cairo network back up. So figuring that this was probably going to go sideways, I had it set up so that way the one piece of important cargo that I needed was on Sam's back. So if I had to ditch the truck, I had it and I could just keep going, which is what I had to do. And I get to this base, and the entire time I am running to this base, I am getting mad that this has happened. I'm hating the game because of this. I get there, I get this guy back on the network. Oh, hey, guess what? You've unlocked level 2 non-lethal assault rifle.
Yeah.
So I stock up like Rambo, go back to this mule camp, and I set off their sensor. I intentionally let them ping me so they know where I'm at, and I run back off behind some rock outcrops and let them come to me. And I take out this entire mule camp non-lethally, get all of my stuff back, get to my truck, power it back up, and finish trying to navigate this stupid forest with my truck, which probably took another half hour. Yeah. I hate mules.
I love Death Stranding.
So, which brings me to my next thing of I could have either gone through the mule camp or my problem number 2, the BTs. I could have gone through a BT infested area. It's none of these are hard to go through. It's just I don't want to do it. It really breaks up the flow for me of trying to figure things out, of just navigating through an area.
Yeah.
The BTs, all you have to do is crouch, scan, and then just weave your way in between these things that can't really find you unless you bump into one, really.
Yeah, and when you stop, they show up. So it's pretty easy. It's just slow moving.
Also, yeah, exactly. It's not hard. It's just stupidly slow.
You're also not too far away from getting an upgrade that makes that considerably easier as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
At that point, you don't need to really stop. You just wait until it says hit square to do this thing. You do it, and you keep booking.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I really hate that sometimes this game forces you into confrontation, and I don't mean like story beat wise. I'm talking like you've gotten to this new area. There was an open field with nothing in it. It was completely fine. You do your mission, all of a sudden you have a drop-off that you can do that requires you to go back through this area, and all of a sudden it's just littered with BTs.
Yeah.
Even more so than normal.
Yeah.
And it's like the game wants you... It just makes it difficult for no reason.
It happens at the very first area as well. Like, you do all the things in the first area. You get all the way to the north, I think it is, in that first area. And it's like, okay, now deliver this to the city you started at. Oh, by the way, now the whole map is essentially covered in BTs. It's like,
why? Of course.
Yeah. It's stupid, and it was frustrating to the point that I purposely ran into a BT so that it would bring me to the boss, so that I could beat the boss, so that, oh, hey, guess what? It stopped raining, and there's no longer BTs on the map anymore.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And that's just one thing that I hated about the game was the forced encounters. I don't mind them. I don't mind the mules and the BTs being in the game as long as there's a way around them.
Right.
Yeah. And sometimes the game makes it so that you can't do that.
Do you have the counter ping for mules yet?
Yes, I do.
Okay. That makes mules a lot easier because it's like I can cross into your territory a little bit. I will counter ping you so you don't bother me, and I will just kind of keep on moving.
Yeah, basically as long as they don't have line of sight, you're fine.
Yeah.
Which honestly though too, if you have a vehicle, a lot of times it doesn't matter. You can just charge right through their territory.
Yeah, you're moving too fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I accidentally ran into a mule going full speed, and then I got that little warning about, hey, don't kill people because they can cause void outs.
Yeah. Right.
Oh yeah, that's a thing.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
But then, so once all that's been settled, dealing with the BTs, it's stupid. You do have a bunch of weapons, which you can, like the level 2 assault rifle that I have, I can either have it be lethal or non-lethal, and I can have it be a BT or a non-BT.
Yeah, right.
Whatever, that's great. I don't want the forced encounters. Like, I'm not playing Metal Gear. I am playing as a postal man.
Right. Well, and that's what's great about once you start building up the chiral network and you start building zip lines, you can't encounter BTs on a zip line. So, like, if you're just doing regular deliveries, you don't have to deal with them at all. It's really great.
I've run across my first set of zip lines, and that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure how it was going to work, because it basically looks like a football goalie post just planted in the middle of nowhere.
Yep.
I'm like, all right, well, how's this going to work? Is it going to, like, rail launch me or what? And I grab on, and he hooks his cuff up to the line, and it's like, okay, which way you want to, depending on who's set up, because you can set up multiple zip lines for it to connect to.
Yep.
So I'm in the mountainous region. I had several options to pick. I'm like, well, I'm just going to pick this one and see where it goes. And next thing you know, I'm up and over this mountain in probably
in like
a minute.
Yeah, in like 30 seconds. It's like, this is great.
Yeah. And then realized that I had no reason to be on that side of the mountain. So I took the zip line all the way back to where I was at because I was just checking things out. But I like how you just delivering stuff. You get your star rating. You get better upgrades. You get more stuff. I wish... Maybe there will be more, but I wish there were better vehicles, like a better all-terrain vehicle, maybe.
There's like different varieties of them, but none of them are ever really... It's not like you unlock the bike that suddenly has like giant wheels and you can get over stuff. They all kind of
like
stink.
A hover bike, or
no,
a truck, or I don't know.
Even not even in like the secret ones where you get the data chips. Like none of them have it in there.
Mm-hmm. Like literally, your options are normal or long range.
Yeah.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah.
That's why my option was just walking.
Yep.
But my final complaint for this game is that they take away your ability to detect BTs at a certain point.
Mm-hmm. The longest chapter in the game.
And everything becomes BT territory.
Yep.
And I had found that if you're on a motorcycle, usually you can just blow through BT territory no problem.
Yep. As long as you don't crash into them, you're usually okay.
Exactly. And a lot of times they are floating usually fairly high off the ground, so you can pretty much drive under them. There are a couple of them that are kind of within hitting distance, but it's not...
Chances are good. Yeah.
When you drive a truck, it does not matter. You will hit everything.
Right.
And the truck has weird controls where you don't... When you hit L2... for reverse, it just breaks.
Yeah,
you have to hit it again, and then it will go in reverse.
Oh, Jesus.
It's even worse on a mountain because you have momentum, which is not correct for a truck, and you're constantly sliding and weaving and all this other stuff. So controls for the truck are not great. And that, again, I was kind of worried the first time, since you don't have your ability to detect BTs, you can't really see them. You just know you're in an area because it's raining heavily, and your little... hand
it does that whomp noise. Yeah.
Which is also a pain. I wish it would stop doing that every time. I understand it's raining. I understand I'm in BT territory.
I don't need that much slow down. Like, yeah.
But with the truck, like, it got into the point where it's like I was so fed up with being stuck in BT territory everywhere I went that I just started fighting the bosses. And at first I was worried that I wouldn't be able to see the boss. Mm-hmm. Because I figured that was all tied into this whole system. It's not. You can fight the bosses just fine.
Yep.
So
throw a bunch of blood grenades. You're good.
Exactly. Load them up with grenades, and hey, that area is cleared out now. You can just carry on your merry way.
Yep.
So that's kind of what the boss fights turned into for me.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I really enjoy the game. Besides my 4 main complaints there.
Yeah.
I still
it's like
really
75% of it is really good.
Yes. It. Like, my wife had to work this past Friday. I did not. And I woke up at 3, started playing the game, and next thing I knew, it was 8 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right.
So, and I didn't realize it was that late, because I was just kind of messing around with different dumb stuff.
One more delivery. Just one more delivery. Yeah.
I really like the game. From what I understand, once I get past the mountains, that's where the story starts to get kind of weird, and it kind of traps you so that you don't have as much freedom, apparently.
It will mainline you at a certain point.
Yeah, it sort of pushes you towards the finish line,
Which, whatever.
Yeah. Thankfully, after all that stuff, the game dumps you back in the world, and it's like, go do more deliveries.
Yeah, just enjoy. When you get to the point where it looks like you might have to do something very serious and you're heading towards the end of the game, make sure you got a good 6 hours in front of you.
It's long, yeah.
So don't play it just before going into work.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, but yeah. Other than that, I really enjoy this game.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to say, and that's all I've played. What about you, Boston?
I played a lot of Saga Scarlet Grace Ambition, but I'm going to shelve that for now because I need more time to talk about it. I spent like half an hour talking about it on Pup yesterday. So far, it's really great. So far, it is very much a Saga game, which means I will need some time to explain what that means. Wrapping back around on my Moonlight streaming adventures recently.
Yes, you need to send me links on this.
Yes, I do. Sorry about that. Before the break, I talked about finding the build of it for the Steam Link. I've spent a significant amount of time over the last couple of weeks using that because it works really, really, really well. My desktop is wired and my Steam Link is wireless. And by default, it's pushing like 20 megabits, which is way more than 1080p 60 video needs. So I pulled that down to about 11 or 12. runs flawlessly. Everything I've pushed at it, it runs really great. So it's to the point where if I'm going to play Destiny 2 by myself, I'm playing it through Moonlight on the Steam Link with an Xbox controller, as opposed to playing it on either of my consoles. So 2 thumbs up. Moonlight works really well. I've tried Gears 5 with it. That ran really well. I tried Forza Horizon 4. That ran flawlessly. So like everything I've been tossing it has been running really well. I should try Nuclear Throne after I turn on gamepad support, of course.
Yes.
Yeah. So far, Moonlight working really well. If anyone wants to try it. Just search for Moonlight Streaming. I never remember what the URL is. But they just released a new version that improved the streaming tech even more, so it's even smoother. I started and finished the Witcher TV series. I don't know if either of you guys have started that.
Nope.
Yeah.
I one-shot that thing in one day.
Yeah, it is, 8 episodes? 9 episodes?
It's
yeah.
8.
Yeah.
An hour apiece.
It's fantastic. I really don't want to spoil it, but I think if you have played any of the Witcher games or read the books, you'll go into it. It retells some of the short stories from the books, which is fine. It does a really good job. If you've played the games, I think this is a really great introduction to some of the book stuff, and the books are really good. If you haven't experienced either of those and you like The Witcher, go pick up Witcher 2 or 3, start reading the books. Like if you like this stuff, you'll like the rest of the Witcher stuff.
Yeah, I did see a friend of the show, Musum, decided to play and complete The Witcher 1. And
yes,
I was like,
he finally completed The Witcher 1.
Are you insane?
We've been talking about it on Pup for, he estimates about 4 years. So he's finally finished it, and he's finally on a Witcher 2. So an actual real video game, not like the first one.
That took me an entire deployment to beat that game.
Yeah, it's a thing.
But yeah, if you do watch those TV shows, like Boston said, it doesn't matter if you jump into 3 or 2.
Yeah.
There is a timeline, but they're all kind of self-contained stories where if you've played the previous ones, you'll have a little bit more of an idea on what's going on.
Yeah.
But the games all do a real good job of recapping kind of what's been happening and what's going on in the world.
And in 3, like
lore heavy.
In 3, you just need to know like who Nilfgaard is and Ciri and Yennefer and Triss, and it's like, you know that, and they're all in the show. You sort of got it already, and Geralt, of course, but yeah, Dandelion, who they
don't forget to toss a coin to your Witcher.
That's right. I keep getting that stuck in my head every day.
I have never had that stuck in my head. I don't know what everyone's problem is with that.
So good. Next up, Borderlands 3. There was a sale on the Super Mega Collection on Christmas for $75 digitally, which is
disappointed.
The game and the season pass. And since my wife and I want to play it together, and I'm sharing my library, that means 2 of us can get all of that stuff for the one price.
Yep.
So scooped that up. We've played probably about an hour, and I think 2 major disappointments for us. Number 1 is you start on Pandora with someone talking in your head, and Marcus lets you off a bus to talk to Claptrap.
Right there. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is the same thing that Borderlands 1 and 2 did. They're just punching the same mold out again. Mm-hmm. And you're fighting bandits, and you take over a bandit camp, and Claptrap's making jokes about stairs and stuff. It's just all so rote at the beginning that I can't help but be disappointed in it. And on top of it, it runs super well on my PS4 Pro. 4K, HDR, 60 frames, really great.
Does it run like hot garbage on your wife's?
I cannot begin to tell you how terribly it runs on my wife's vanilla PS4. I didn't understand the frustration she was having until I tried playing on her console. There's enough of a delay that when you move the sticks to move your character or aim, there's a delay. And it's not like a dead zone delay. It is I moved the stick and it takes a quarter of a second for my character to start moving. Like, it is significantly... It's a significantly terrible experience.
One of those things where she was yelling down the hall that her game's broken, and you're just yelling back, "Get good, scrub."
Oh no! Like we play, our TVs are next to each other, and she's like clearly having a problem aiming and moving, and she plays games like this all the time. So I know it's not like I just started playing games. You know that when you see people start first-person shooters, it's sort of like you can't look at the sky the whole time.
It's not my wife who gets sick playing 2 minutes of Halo.
Yeah, it wasn't anything like that. And I was like, sometimes when we play PS4 games, there's Bluetooth interference between the two of them. So even when I had the controllers wired, which bypasses that stuff, it was still that problem. And I was like, this just sucks. Like it's just really rough. So I think we made it through about an hour of that. Like Vaughn from Tales of the Borderlands showed up. That was kind of fun. But I think at the beginning, so far, it feels frustratingly like Borderlands. Like you're fighting skags in Pandora, and it all looks the same, and it all feels the same, and it just sort of... It's kind of just Borderlands. And I know there's more stuff eventually, but I kind of wish it would get to that stuff immediately, where it's like, oh, we're going to Pandora. Just kidding, we're going to this super cool... futuristic space city, like that's the sort of stuff I want to get immediately, and then we can go to Pandora later. I'm sure there's still stuff on there. Another vault, I'm sure. Who knows?
Probably.
But, yeah. I played Shovel Knight King of Cards. That finally came out. This is cool because you get to play as King Knight. And
before he was king, if I believe.
Yes, before he was king. And it's really, really different because basically he has this real heaviness to how his character moves. And basically he doesn't have a jump, but basically when you push the jump button, he dashes forward. And if he hits a solid wall or an enemy, he bounces up and starts spinning.
Interesting.
And you can use that to either bump into something, like run into a wall to kind of... Where Shovel Knight would just jump onto a platform, you have to run into a wall to bounce off to get onto a platform, or run into an enemy to kind of spin and hit them a couple times by jumping on them, or break blocks or stuff like that. It feels very much like the Wario Land games, where Wario has this heaviness to him.
Don't bring the god of all platformers into this unless we're announcing a new one, please.
I wish Wario Land 5 was going to come out, but that's what it feels like to me. Is like there's this weight to the character, and instead of you jumping and slashing, and it's not just Shovel Knight, but he has a different skin on it. Like it's a significantly different game.
Best shoulder check in a video game, by the way.
Yeah, hands down. I mean, no one beats Wario. Wow. I played a little bit of River City Girls. My good friend and friend of the show, Jimbo Jangles, gifted this to me. It very much is, in the best ways, it is a brand new River City Ransom. You're just playing as women as opposed to your character. I played probably about an hour. I fought through the school at the beginning. I fought the first boss, which was way harder than I was expecting it to be. But so far, it feels really good, and I'm playing it on my aging Xbox One, and it's performing pretty well over there. So I'm hoping to spend more time with that over the next couple of weeks. But I played a lot of Talos Principle and a lot of Saga Scarlet Grace, so I was trying to fill in with all these other games.
Yeah.
My last game is
Destiny 2.
No, I'm done. In about 15 days, I finished this new season, so I'm pretty much done for the majority of the next couple of months. I wanted, since we were on a break, I wanted the most comforting of comfort food games for me.
Oh God, you went back and played either Symphony of the Night or you went back and played Chrono Trigger. It's one of the two.
Sadly, no. we're revitalizing the Binding of a Moonpear Boston Rebirth. Hi, I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpear.
Go away.
I
forgot. Yeah, did you start talking about this? Did you pick this up on Xbox?
No, I just, when I picked up Afterbirth Plus on PS4, I just never really played it. Mm-hmm. So I hadn't unlocked Apollyon even, and that was my first step. Where it's like, all right, it's very clearly you got to beat Mega Satan. Let's make that happen. After about 25 runs, I finally, you can do it when you're not trying to do it, and then when you're trying to do it, it never happens. But first off, I started doing the other challenges that came with Afterbirth Plus.
How bad are they, honestly?
4 out of the 5 are good. So the easiest one is Pong. Basically, you shoot. It's literally 25% of the screen wide. It's a triangle shot, and it's rubber cement and the piercing shot.
Okay, so it goes through enemies and it bounces off walls.
Right. So,
welcome to the translation part of the show, by the way, folks.
Yeah, so it's just kind of go crazy and beat this. It's like the technology one in the base game where it's like, look, you're going to win, just have fun.
Yeah.
Pokemon's was pretty easy. So let's bring this back. There's an item in the game that is just a Pokeball. Mm-hmm. And you throw it in an enemy, it captures them, and then when you recharge that item, you can throw it, and the captured enemy gets released as an ally for you. Where Pokemon's differs is that every time you throw the ball, a different random enemy comes out.
Oh no.
And when that enemy dies, you get a full charge back on the ball.
So it's about dodging and just throwing the ball by any chance? Are you
pretty much? No, you're not blindfolded. It's just a regular run. You just have a whole bunch of friends with you. That is one of the more fun ones. It's not a guaranteed win on your first run, but it's one of those where it's like, all right, I kind of finally get this. Like, I get the rhythm of it. Mm-hmm. I did Back Assward is the one of the runs. It's you start at Mega Satan with full health and full items.
Okay.
And every floor, health and items get taken away until you end up at the beginning room of the first floor. So you're going backwards through the game.
Okay.
Harder than it needs to be, but not the hardest one. We'll get to that. April's Fool is one of my favorite challenges. Number 1, every boss is bloat, which is the worst and hilarious.
I hate the bloat.
Number 2, everything in the game is randomized. So if you see an item on a pedestal and you pick it up, it's a different item than the one you picked up. Every consumable that lands on the floor is randomized. So you pick up a key, you might get a gold heart. You pick up a coin, it might be a bomb. So it's not that hard. It's just sort of like you're continually rolling the dice to see what you're going to get out of the thing you picked up. It makes Devil Deals really terrible.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I picked up this cool thing. Oh, it's magic fingers. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay.
The hardest challenge, and easily the hardest challenge of all of them, I'm including the Onan one, I'm including the Guardian, Speed. This is harder than all of them. It's called Ultra Hard. Let me break this down for you, Moon.
Okay.
Every curse is live on every floor, except for the darkness one, and that can still happen every once in a while. You cannot cleanse curses.
Okay.
Every boss is double trouble.
The machine does double damage.
No, you fight 2 bosses at once.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Or in the case where it's a boss is 2 things, you're fighting 4 bosses at once.
So the baby on the guy with the string, you've got 2 babies, 2 guys.
Right. Every enemy is a champion, including bosses.
Great.
So you are often fighting 2 to 4 champion bosses, and every room has every type of champion. On top of it, there are item rooms. Thankfully, there are shops. On top of it, there are no consumable drops.
No keys, no bombs.
No hearts. No nothing.
Okay.
So it is literally at every turn where you could make the game hard, they just turn the dials all the way up and said, oh, yeah, this is hard. And then it's like F you hard on every single thing.
I had one reason to not buy this DLC. Now I've got two.
It's one of those that like, the reward for finishing it is not worth it because it's like Samson feels healthier, which is
Samson starts with another heart.
No, that'd be great. No, he starts with Child's Heart equipped already, which is worse than useless. But I know this run is going to be one of those where you have the perfect run and it all comes together. But man, getting to that point is just really frustrating. Because like even getting to floor 3 is an achievement. And of course you play as Isaac. So, you have no stats at all.
You play as Isaac, do you have the D6?
Of course not. Why would you?
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why you guys play this game, because every time I hear either one of you talk about it, it's like you're punching each other in the gut, and then one of you goes, oh, you think that hurts? And then you equip something, and
then I just stab him.
And you keep going and going and going.
Oh, you think that hurts? I'm going to shoot you. No, I think...
It's truth or slap.
Yeah, and I think that all of that stuff was maybe like 2 hours. The rest of my time was playing as Eden, so the character that starts with randomized stats and gear. Almost all of her runs are really fun. His runs, are really fun. And trying to beat Mega Satan. And if I don't, I'm still winning. I just didn't do the thing that I needed to do to unlock the new character.
Didn't do the second new secret boss.
Right. Well, and a couple of times I fought the final new secret boss, at least until Repentance. The final new secret boss is rough. It's a lot like the Hush, where I think in most of my games I will probably just skip it. But a lot of the rest of it was just, I'm just going to play the game that I love and have a great run and win. And have a good time.
In all honesty, for Isaac, it's the Mass Effect 3 thing, where you put 60 hours into Mass Effect 3 and you were disappointed with the last 30 minutes of the ending. Are you really going to be that mad at it? With
those 59 and a half hours were really good.
Yeah. With us and Isaac, it's like you put 700 days into this. Are you really going to be disappointed with the one day that you don't find it fun?
Yeah, but the difference with Mass Effect 3 is that I have a lot of other good memories with that game.
Right.
And every time you guys talk about this game, it's just like...
I think, to be honest, it's because we're at the point in the game where you've missed all the good stuff. Like, we've already experienced all of the good stuff.
I listened to your guys' other podcasts.
Yeah.
I've heard the trials and tribulations that you've had to go through, Moon, which is why I don't own this game. I think this game.
The real disappointing thing is when you look at a lot of the really hard challenges in the base game and the Afterbirth DLC, going through that trouble and that struggle is worth it because it unlocks something that is genuinely very powerful. The disappointment with Ultra Hard is unlocks something that doesn't really benefit Samson as a character very much because most people aren't going to be playing as him anyway, and that the bonus you're getting isn't game changing. So that's kind of one of the biggest disappointments. Is usually it's worth it to beat your head against this wall, and because the payout is really great, and for once it really isn't.
Really, at this point, it just sounds like Stockholm syndrome. Really,
I mean, there's probably a little bit of that. Yeah,
just beat me harder.
That's right. Yeah. But that's all I played. Let's take a break. let's talk about release for the week of January 6th, 2020. Monster Hunter World Iceborne comes out on the PC. Boy, I bet that looks really good on PC with all the snow and the ice and the glaciers and the snowy dragons. And
the base game looks amazing on PC.
It does. Base game looks amazing on consoles. Like, it's just... it's a good-looking game.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to news stories. Just two really quick ones here. Awesome Games Done Quick 2020 is running right now. Probably the reason why we don't have a lot of people in chat, because it's over running on Twitch alongside. If you've never watched it, a lot of really, really cool speedruns coming up this year. A lot of new games that haven't really been shown off before. Outer Worlds is going to have a speed run that estimated time is 23 minutes. Yeah. So if you've never seen a super mega dummy run of that game, you make yourself the dumbest, and it's really good.
Oh, is that what they're doing? They're going for that ending?
That's one of the stipulations for it. Is like you got to make yourself the dumbest. Just a big old himbo, just
I know
shooting their way through there.
Exactly how they're going to end that game.
Yeah. And secondly, there's a lot to unpack in this title. So the unannounced Final Fantasy VII Remake demo has leaked. I'll give you a second for that one.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. The demo, unannounced demo, contains a lot of assets and details from the final game. So data miners have released some of the stuff that occurs that's different in Final Fantasy VII Remake. So this is... I'm absolutely not going to talk about it, obviously, because the game isn't out for 2.5 months. But this is a cautionary tale that if you want to go into the Final Fantasy VII Remake and see all the changes, because I've seen a bunch of the spoiler stuff because I don't care that much. There are a good number of changes in the game. You might want to start setting up your Twitter filters now, unfollowing some spoilery people. That stuff is out in the wild now. So a PSA from us to you.
Let me do my quick heads up for everyone. Ares lives.
There you go. Oh man,
that's the big change.
Spoiler there we go. Spoiling everything. Yeah.
Can't
Square
even
Enix
podcast anymore.
That's right. I'm done with this.
To really annoy Boston, this is the way.
Oh, God, I hate you so much. I have muted 4 terms, every variable of that on Twitter. You guys murder everything in all of these shows online. Just stop.
That's why I don't talk to people.
That's the best plan. Just live as a hermit. God, I'd love to do that.
All right, you guys, I have you constantly on sound off just in case.
That's right.
You just wait for the lips to stop moving and then say something. I know
that's
how
right.
it goes.
That's the best way. Yeah. All right, let's move on to questions here. Sam Shepard sends us an email. Says, "Happy New Year, TVGP crew. I love the show. Thank you for listening. Happy New Year. My New Year's resolution is New Year, New Game. That new game is Assassin's Creed 2007. So far, I really like the game. It looks great and plays well. Do you guys have a new game for the start of the new year? Thanks, Sam Shepard."
Let me tell you about the joy of tracks.
There you go. I feel like I don't have a project game right now. I feel like I should have one where it's I've always meant to play this. Let's just maybe Talos Principle is sort of like that right now. Okay.
The Surge, because it's been popping into my head more and more and more, because number one, I got up to Giant Bomb doing the play date on it. So about 2 years behind in video still.
Right.
Number two, The Surge 2 came out last year, and I am one of those people who won't play the sequel without having played the first.
Right.
And Alien Isolation.
Yeah.
It's a game I bought. I love the franchise. I love so much about that universe. And I still haven't played this game that my wife bought for me on my birthday 2 years ago.
Yeah.
3 years ago, 4 years ago, however long ago it was.
Yeah.
I don't really have... I've just being on this podcast, I've managed to make a huge dent in my backlog of games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it also helps that I'm not working 80 hours a week anymore while going to school on top of it. So
Right.
I have time to play games again.
Well, I think your project of the year is clearly your Elite Dangerous Sagittarius run.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not 2020. That's until I die.
Right. Until our sun explodes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
And I don't know. I feel like I'm still. We're only 5 days into the year now, but I feel like I'm in search of that game that I've had in my backlog for a while that I have sitting here behind me on the shelf. Where it's like, yeah, I need. Okay. The Fire Emblem Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE Encore comes out on the 17th of this month. I feel like that's going to be my first one, where it's like I missed it on the Wii U. Everybody loves this game. And obviously I love JRPGs. Now is the time for me to kind of work my way through that game.
I'll say right now I'm just trying to clear games from last year so that way I have just the focus to play Final Fantasy VII when it comes out.
That's true. Well, you gotta clear your plate for when Cold Steel 4 gets announced.
That's not going to be for another 2 years.
That's true. Yeah. Has that come out in Japan yet?
I think
it just came
out already. I think it's about to come out.
Yeah.
Which usually it's about another year before it comes out West Side. So
got some countdown timer starting.
Nope.
T-Bomb Rocks sends us a question in Discord. Which of the following Xbox IPs could you see getting a remake, remaster, or sequel first? Which one would you want to see as sequel or remake the most? So let's go down the list, and I guess let's sort of talk about the viability of remake, remaster, or sequel. First one up here is Perfect Dark.
Dead on the vine.
I don't see them even doing another remaster because the one they put out on
Zero, wasn't it, on 360?
Yeah,
that was on Xbox One.
No, that was on 360. Yeah, that didn't do well, and the XBLA version they did of the first game didn't really do well either.
Yeah.
They tried it, it's not going anywhere.
Well, honestly, the problem is it's based on a game that was kind of great, but also based on the GoldenEye engine, and the things that they did for Zero. I think Zero was a good game. I think Zero was a great game. It did so much that GoldenEye did as well. Like each difficulty level that you had changed the missions in the level, so it wasn't just the same level. It was you had to approach it differently. I think it was great. I think it bombed. It was a good game in my opinion, but it bombed. So it's you're not going to see anything to do with Perfect Dark for a while. When Spency shows up wearing a Perfect Dark t-shirt, that's when I'll get excited.
That's right. When he gets the tattoo, then we're ready. Banjo.
Well, they've just released a new Banjo.
I was going to say, I thought they just came out with something recently.
Which one?
The Curse of the Willow Woods or some crap like that. It's like a 2D side-scrolling Banjo. I think it's on Game Pass.
Are you thinking of Yooka-Laylee?
Maybe.
The Curse of the Impossible Lair?
I don't know. That one, yeah. It's the same thing. It's Banjo.
Because I think Banjo's dead. I think they really tried, and I think they came out with a great game with nuts and bolts. And
One might say the best Banjo game.
As much as I didn't like it, I would probably agree. I think that game just landed at the wrong time and had the wrong marketing and just was critically well received and sales wise just didn't do anything. And I think they have Rare making new stuff now. I think they're supporting Sea of Thieves, which is doing very well for them now, and they're making new stuff now. And I think that's the direction Rare and Microsoft are sort of heading.
I forgot to mention, I did play Sea of Thieves over the holiday. That game's got a lot in it now. Yeah,
that game is chock full of stuff.
Yeah, it looks like the last official Banjo game was Nuts and Bolts in 2008.
Yeah.
Yep.
Boy, wow, that's 12 years old. Conquer. I don't think they can put out another Conquer. I think that was like a one and done. Here's a shocking thing on the N64. Whoa, it's super dirty. And I don't think you can do that again.
No. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd love to see them do a new Conquer game, but the style of humor doesn't work anymore. It's 2020. That Conquer's humor was very of the time.
We had the South Park games, and they did their own thing. Viva Pinata.
Please, 1,000%. If you
Series X, come on.
Show the powerhouse that is the Series X. You stick a Viva Pinata on there. Viva World. Viva Pinata World.
Viva Universe.
No, that's the sequel. Viva World
that's right.
is the next one.
Yeah, you gotta save room for growth, okay?
That's right. Yeah, I would kill to see a Viva sequel, and I think I think a new console with ray tracing and 4K.
Could you imagine that stuff with ray tracing?
Yeah, like 4K, 60 frames per second, HDR, and all that stuff. Like, I feel like as much of a racing game is a showpiece for a new console, I feel like that could really be like a dark horse showpiece where it's like, oh my, look at the ray tracing on this thing. Like, look at
the paper mache.
Yeah, like look at how good this stupid game looks.
Think about how satisfying it's going to be to shovel those worms to death in that kind of resolution.
Yeah, that's right. I'd like to do that. Shadowrun, dead.
Never played any of the Shadowrun games.
Dead. I don't think I think someone else could do a super great modern Shadowrun game, but I think we have to wait a couple of years after Cyberpunk comes out, because I think the average person might confuse those two. They're obviously
time to poop one out.
Yeah, I think they're obviously very different, but I think there might be too much market confusion there. Crimson Skies.
As much as I hate to say it, I think flight sims that are not based in space are dead. Ace Combat has got its very specific niche that it has carved out for itself, but that's mostly based on how stupid and dumb that world is. I think if it's not a space game with flight and stuff, then...
And I feel like they got it right with High Road to Revenge. Was that the subtitle on that one?
I bloody know.
The original Xbox One. I feel like they kind of nailed it there. So, I mean, maybe it's backwards compatible, so you don't even need to do a remaster of that. And I think you're right. I think if it isn't in space, no one
cares.
No one really wants it. Go play the original one again. It's probably still really good.
Go play Elite Dangerous.
There you go. You can explore more.
Space.
You can get closer to that 0.01% of space explored with your help. And lastly, Mech Assault. Mech Assault could have a cool game, but I feel like you couldn't put that game back out. I feel like my knee-jerk response would be to maybe put out a little bit faster paced, maybe like arena multiplayer game. Not like a battle royale, but something maybe like 6v6. Something like that.
Hold on. Which one's the Super Sim one? Is Mech Assault the Super Sim one? Or
Mech Warrior is the Sim one.
Okay.
Yeah, Mech Assault was the original Xbox One that was in that universe and like with those mechs, but it was much more fast paced.
Yeah, I just had to look it up to make sure. Didn't they just release a new one? No, that was Mech Warrior 5.
Yeah. This is another one where I feel like there's no market for it right now. Like there's a market for Mech Warrior right now because it's been 20 years since the last one.
The last version of that game that we played was the one which had the Kinect controls. So the less said about that, the better.
Yeah, that was Steel
Battalion.
Battalion.
The one that came with that. That was Steel Battalion. That came with the controller.
Yeah,
and then Steel Battalion 2 was the Kinect one where you had no controller.
Dude, I look at Steel Battalion, I think like once a year, and I still see those things go for like $400.
Yeah. I'd love to have one of those just to be like, gaze upon this disaster.
No, I would play that because it comes with that thick manual on how to pilot your mech, and I would read that.
It's a different universe, but
it comes with a self-destruct switch that deletes your save file. I mean, come on.
That's right. I feel like the bummer of this is the marketplace has grown so far since the original Xbox and even the Xbox 360 at this point that so many of these games, I think except for Viva Pinata and maybe Banjo, there's not really a market for them anymore. Because other games are doing... It's the Seinfeld problem again. So many of the games on the market now have scraped the bones of these other games to make better things. Like, why would you play a new Mech Assault when you can just go play Titanfall 2, one of the best single-player mech campaigns?
Because you put Battle Royale in front of it and it makes everything better.
But I think even Microsoft couldn't throw enough money at a new Battle Royale right now.
Have you dropped Orbit with a mech before?
Not in a while. I mean, if we want to get personal about it, I mean, sheesh, my goodness, asking some real questions here. But yeah, I feel like when I look at Microsoft, I see the 50 studios they've purchased, and just like shoveling piles of money at them, and say like, go make Hellblade 2, go make whatever Obsidian's making, like go make the things that you want to make. And they're not really looking back. They're not looking at their history.
Except for the second division at Playground Games, who are getting forced to make a new Fable game right now.
Yeah, I'm still surprised we haven't seen or heard anything about
it. Like, come on.
Yeah. I don't know. He also asks, we're starting to see rumors from reliable sources that the PS5 will be around 9 teraflops and the Xbox Series X around 12 teraflops. Oh my god, I'm already so sick of this. Give or take, the source here is Digital Foundry. With this going around, Sony being cheaper but less powerful, let's say both are correct, how do you market each console? It is January 5th. I cannot wait until this is over. This is not an insult to T-Bomb.
Well, to say, Microsoft is already doing their tiered thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So how do you know this isn't PlayStation's answer to its lower tiered thing?
Sure. I mean
we just don't know enough.
And I think in this hypothetical world that both of these consoles aren't, when you look at the specs that have been released, both of the consoles are exactly the same in hardware. We don't know the type of SSD that's going to be released in the PS5. That's probably not going to make too big of a difference. Check our predictions episode for more in December. I think the biggest thing that Sony can do, whether their console is more or less powerful or even or whatever, is come in $100 less than Microsoft. If Sony wants to win, and vice versa for Microsoft. Microsoft probably already has that in the bag because they're showing the Series X. We can assume that the Series S is also going to come out at a lower price point and have some removed or diminished features of some sort. So,
and honestly, it doesn't matter how powerful any of these consoles are. If the developers don't know how to harness that properly, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
Does not matter.
Technically, the PlayStation 3 was about twice as powerful as the Xbox 360, and look at everything that happened with it.
And it was a disaster to develop for.
Remember at the end of the PS2 era where everyone was like, we've sucked this thing dry. There is nothing more we can do with this. And then God of War 2 came out.
Yep. Right, and it's like, whoops.
Best looking game on the PlayStation 2.
Yeah, and I feel like that will probably be eased a little bit with backwards compatibility. But I think marketing matters so little for these new consoles in like the first 3 to 6 months because they're just, all they need to say is the PS5 is out on this date for this much money. And people like us and people that are listening to the show are know they're going to get it day one, or they know they're not going to. Like, we're not talking about marketing that matters in like 2 years. That's when the price difference and the power difference and all that stuff matters. Day one, you know you're getting it or you're not. Like, no one's walking into Walmart and being like, "Oh my, the PS5 is out? It's available now." It's like, yeah. I mean, you sort of know or you don't. So
yeah,
I don't know. I'm tired. I'm already tired of specs and rumors and stuff like that. Like, I want to make it to E3 so everybody lays their cards on the table and I can pre-order my consoles and I will be happy then.
Yeah, it's like, and how do you market each console? just don't make it a bloodbath. Hey,
just say it's out.
This is what we have. This is what our competition has.
Yep.
These are your choices.
Yeah.
You don't like either one of them? Buy a Switch. Switches are great.
Yeah. And I think Microsoft has a much easier path to marketing the new Xbox because they'll have Halo Infinite day one on Game Pass. So like,
not to mention whatever all of the other stuff that all of those 10
whatever the new Forza is, like all this other stuff that's going to come out, that and probably some backwards compatibility enhancements as well. Like they probably have a bunch of stuff there, so that's probably an easier market. Where Sony, unless they're hiding a bunch of stuff that they're going to show throughout the year, might have a harder sell from a software standpoint, where it's like, Ghost of Tsushima is coming out on PS4. Buy a PS5, please. Like there seems to be less of a pull there. I mean, they might come out with a new Gran Turismo, but that's not really a system sell in the same way that Halo is.
No, they won't. There's going to be at least 5 years into the new console before they make another Gran Turismo.
That's fair. A Sport is doing pretty well, so they don't need another one. Yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see what Sony's going to show when they finally do like a proper unveiling, where they have a trailer and they have a press announcement and the whole thing. But they haven't taken that opportunity to do that yet. So, and Microsoft has done that like 3 times already with the Series X. So we'll see. I don't know. 2020 is going to be a really interesting year for all of that. It definitely won't be boring. That's a guarantee.
Yeah.
All right, that's our episode for this week. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. TVGP.tv is where you can find and follow us on the right-hand side of the page. Patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers. The $5 a month tier is the one where you get Old Dog New Flicks a couple of months early. That brand new episode of that just came out. You get the Outcast. There's a ton of stuff in the Outcast this week, and there's like 100 hours of old Outcasts there in the feed if you're not yet a subscriber. So patreon.com/E1M1. Game Club game right now is the Talos Principle. We still have 3 weeks for that, 2 weeks for that, something like that. Yeah. I wasn't sure if it was another 6-week month or if we left those in 2019.
No, Pope was yesterday, so 2 weeks.
Perfect.
Don't forget, it's leap year this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, I gotta love the fact that on January 1st, one of 365 was trending. It's like, you're all a bunch of idiots. Go to hell.
And I think that's it. So we'll see you all next week.
Ciao, Bella.
Goodbye.
Okay, Nymph, hit me with your titles.
All right. I have Formula One Ticket to Ride. R and Jesus.
Yep.
Meat and 2 Veg.
Veto.
Yeah, I was going to say, doesn't that get a veto straight away?
Immediately. I don't even have to think about that one.
2 Kids in a Hat. It Took a Minute. Dumb Don't Think Games.
Yeah.
It's something to do with trains. This one I couldn't remember if it was Sirius or Series, but Sirius Tracksman. I think it was Sirius Tracksman.
I think it was Sirius, yeah.
Toss a Coin to Your Witcher. Every Curse is Live. And It's Much Like Hush.
All right, Moon, what do you have?
Double Dead by Friday. Randomness. This one probably gets a veto as well. It's Bigger Than You Think. 903 Days. Non-definitive edition. The Okayest collection. 2 Kids in a Hat Telltale. You're a Serious Tracksman. Say It Again. I Found the Simplest. Lincoln Logs 2020. Stay Quiet Forever. Dress Sphere for Life. And Truck Full of Corpses, which probably gets a veto too.
It's not bad, but I don't think it's one of the strongest ones. I have Moonpier's Sports Corner. Deja Vu is a Problem. Lincoln Logs 2020. Serious Tracksman, 903 Days, and the Okayest edition. I put a check mark next to the Okayest edition and Serious Tracksman.
I think Okayest takes it.
I like that one a lot.
Yeah, it works for me.
Circling. Let me know when you guys are ready.
The funny thing is, I don't think that collection is available digitally anymore. It's only available on disc now, I think.
Probably, yeah.
It's really weird.
The whole thing is weird.
Yeah, it is. But yes, I'm ready. Speaking of Formula 1 though, Boston, 2 months left until the season starts. 3 months until the season starts, approximately 2 months until Drive to Survive. You best be on that as second it hits Netflix.
Okay. Remind me.
Rich Energy. You don't want to miss out on 2020's Rich Energy.
Our very important sponsor, hashtag Rich Energy for Life. Drink it up.
Let's say this is going to be the 6th podcast now for TVGP.
Yep.
Formula 1. All right.
Yep.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 637 for January 6th, 2020, the Okayest edition.
Complete, but no.
And somehow you can't buy it online anymore.
All right, thank you so much everyone for joining us live. We will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
And we can stop recording.